All right then, hello, my name's Lee Nelson, and as Glenn pointed out, I am from Luton. I was born there, I grew up there, I went away for a bit and then I went back, because it's like it's either like a vacuum or it's a wonderful vortex, it draws you home. And I'm going to start with this one, that I saw some small people, there are some rudies, is that okay? I can soften, but leave the rudies where they are. Okay, here we go. This one's called The Burdens of Power. The king of the elves strode swift to his throne. The rebellion quelled, the domain still his own. There he stood on the dais, his regime to enforce, with what he'd learned on a management training course. Fellow elves, he smiled and held up a hand. The room was still stately, its appointment so grand, all the pomp of the elvish in this throne room ingrained, but the consultant said the common touch must be maintained. So fellow elves was intended to level the field. Outside steamed the corpses where insurgents had yielded their cause to the forces the monarch had hired, dwarf mercenaries from the kingdom of Dwanak Ufayed. Traditionally, elves fought with the stems of fresh roses. Combatants would strike swift gladiatorial poses in their poise and their battle cries, judged by king's quorum, and the one who did it nicest declared Victor Ludorum. But this latest rebellion over pay and conditions had halted production of soft pink kitten mittens, and the king's daily quail egg depended on mittens exported, so dwarves, they were summoned and rebels were slaughtered. Economics. Now was the time to restore status quo, so the looms could start weaving, the mittens could flow, so the king took the dais, the damage to limit with political rhetoric, language with nothing in it. Fellow elves was his opener to establish credentials. The king had learnt this on his long residential, all found from tax money, free beer and free maidens, a free-for-all for pragmatism and free word association. Fellow elves, here I stand on this darkest of days. Yes, I summoned dwarves, but they'll soon go away. I'm afraid at the time they were just necessary. The burdens of power are onerous and heavy, and there's elves here amongst us, wreckers I call them, say that I and my wife and the members of my quorum sit here growing fat on the sails of these mittens, made, as you know, from the guts of your children. But as was proved conclusively, I ask for no quarter, by the great elvish scientist Niels Overwater, there's just not enough pixie dust to go round, so your children are better off under the ground. So your kids have to die, I have two of my own. But it's counterproductive to cry and to moan and to ululate, holler, howl, keen, scream, be morose. If your kids have to die, let them be of sound economic use. These mittens we make, see, they're known across the world. None softer, none finer, gut fleece, softly curled is our glory. Elves' glory. Fellow elves, don't be churlish. The best footwear for young cats is defiantly elvish. And so, do you want that your kids died in vain? These campaigners will say that they'll not come again, that a life is a life, once it's gone, lost forever. But you're young, and you're vigorous. Go make me another. And so that your lives and the lives of your children do not go to waste, we must still export mittens. The dwarves are our friends. To keep order, they'll stay here. As he pauses, breath held, there arises a cheer. Because it's this way that imps who would profane education, ensure passive compliance from the knowledge-starved nation, ensure the lessons of history go unlearnt, so repeated, thanks to doublespeak, lies and cant, rhetoric reheated. We'll watch history repeat, we'll see lessons unlearnt as the killing fields swell and more bodies are burnt. Okay, thank you very much. I'm not in a band, and the reason for that is I cannot sing. But I'm going to now, so apologies in advance. You'll know the tune. Well, you might know the tune. My own eyes foresee the rolling of the nappers of the lords as we liberate the vintage that those worthy necks have stored in the dirt. Proud faces roll as on the ground their wine is poured as truth goes marching on. I can see a time a-coming when the treason is exposed, when the lies that they recline on turn to dust as the wind blows, as the snoozer in the boozer is awakened from his doze and fools go bleating on. I will preach a fiery gospel of equality and peace has finally leathered all the palms that have been greased. I see laws that serve the people. I see machination ceased as truth goes marching on. We'll be sounding out the crash chords of a new and valiant song. The verse is super punchy and it does not drivel on. And the crazy catchy chorus says to screw the weak is wrong and those who try should fall. There we go. There you go. You can have that. Like a folk song, spread it about. Okay, so I do come from Luton and I don't watch football. But I watched one football match, and you probably guess which one. A couple of years ago, Luton got promoted up to the Premier League, or whatever it's called, Division 1, when I knew about it. And they survived the season and then went back down again. But what was important to me was the crowd. I watched the game on holiday, and I watched the crowd, and that was much more interesting. And then I checked it with a mate who is a football person, and I said, am I legitimate in not being a football person but from Luton, who wrote this poem about football in Luton? And he said it was all right. So there we go. So I feel legitimate. Come on, you hatters, it's called. A win brings money, they say, but more than that. A win brings relief. A win brings belief, self-belief, the belief in a chance of change, a belief in the chance of change. It's possible to be from where I'm from and not everyone think you're shit. The team got there by being bloody-minded and defiant, like any team of artists always has to be. It seems like at the higher levels, at least speaking for my subset of the species, art and football can be one. They come from the same place, from the same space, from the same impetus. They're made of the same wonder stuff as the whole lot of us, grown on the same ground, on the same allotted black soil of post-industrial abandon, and rising from the same abandoned Abaddon, we rise and rise over and over. We stay alive like we have no choice but to, just like anything like us doesn't. Defunded, defuncted, deregulated, disregarded, discarded, but we're hard and we try, and we do it anyway. Football and art. At heart, the same impulse. We prove to disprove. We wait, warmed at home. We prove like dough. We rise to disprove. We rise to prove our final instinct's finally true. What will remain of us is care. Who cares wins. The who cares wins. No one likes us, we don't care, but we care for us and any other who comes after us and any other who comes here to be othered with us, can beat us and be with us and be what we all can be, which is just us. And today we're going up. Today we rise and you can come too. And we are going up and you can come too, to drum and dance and clap along and roar with us as lions stir in slumber. The roar. Oh God, that roar. And it's raw to see how much this means to people like me who previously I thought were not like me. Because team football is abstracted war, they say, but that's not what I see today. I see not war, but it's almost opposite. I see family. I see families. And families war, but that war's not like war, is it? And war, that roar. The camera scans the crowd and shows me faces I know, expressions I recognise and see around. There's a weird sort of teeth-hidden, tightly held smile that I know like the face of my own brother. They daren't hope, but they want to. The faces I see want this. They want to win. They want it like you want a feeling. They want it like you want an absence filled. They want it like you just want to fucking show them. They want what they want for an uncle in hospital, for a mum who lost a kid, for a sister fucked over by the same prick 3 times. But she still won't leave, and she still smiles because she knows you love her anyway and will always have her back, even when she has him back again, for fuck's sake. What I see in these faces, woaded and work-tanned, is a thing I see when a cousin falls ill, when a disliked neighbour still deserves a hearing, when the lonely fucker from round one corner meets the lonely fucker from round another corner, and they don't have to be lonely anymore. What I see in these colour-flushed faces is fear and hope, relief and hope, loss and hope, tiredness and hope. Broken locks, leaking pipes, blocked toilets and shat on shared dreams and hope. What I see in these faces, stained orange and painted blue, is the same as you see when the bullied kicks the bully in the twat. The cash machine spits unexpected tenors. When there's a free bar for who cares why. When there's a chance to make merry despite of, in the face of, regardless of every bloody thing else. What I see in these faces, blue blurred and orange smeared, is that thing you see when the chance comes, when there never have been any chances before, when there never were any savings, so you get it and you blow it, and because you so rarely have anything to blow, so just fuck it, have it, blow it. What I see in these faces, painted blue and orange, whatever colour lies beneath, is what was in these, in those stiffened fingers in Agincourt, in the soaked rotten boots at the Somme, In the rolling eyes as Mayor Impey spoke at the crowd. In the ashes of the town hall we burnt down. In the froth-corrupted lungs that cried havoc and let loose the dogs of hope. Hope and family, all dolce and decorous. What I see in these faces is that you want to win where everybody knows your name, and where, whether or not they were glad when you came, they are glad now, and they'll say they are and mean it. If not for them, then for the sake of those that are glad to be here or glad to have you here, because it's just, or just because everyone here knows what it is to be on the bottom looking up for one reason or another. Everyone here knows the value of defiance. Everyone here knows the power of connection, because everyone here is from here, wherever they're supposed to be from originally. Because that's what it means to be family. It's what it means to win, what it means to all of us, what it means to all of us here, because we are all Luton. Come on, you Hatters, up and at 'em. Show the rest the way. Bloody hell. Oh, that one's longer than I remember. Okay. This one. So there's an anthropologist called Margaret Mead, and she was asked, what for you is the first sign of civilization, of humans becoming something other than the beasts we began as? And she said it was a fractured femur fixed, when there was healing on the bone, and it showed that there was, in the fossil record, and it showed that there was time for the tribe to stop and wait and care and love a fellow, rather than just leaving them behind for the tigers to pick off. And I thought that was a gorgeous thing, so I wrote this poem. Fractured femur fixed. These are just words. They can never hurt you, but they are all I have. And we are, so far as we know, the only beasts to share them. And any beast can break a bone. A tiger will use his teeth, a man could. But a man has shed antlers, napped flints, forged bronze, sharpened iron with gilt at the hilt, tempered steel axes with ash handles, arrowheads, grape shot and musket balls, rifled barrels, high-velocity, hollow-tipped rounds designed to do maximum mercy on impact. Bullet words penetrate, rip through, leave a bloody gash on exit, power, glory, homeland, all dolce and decorous, all the right thing to do. Like remembering. Remembering's the thing to do. Remembering we'll have to do, because the call will come to you. The humdrum thrum of the war drum will come in your time, in your turn. It will call to you. And so you must remember. We must remember. We do remember. We will remember. We promise we will remember. We promise the yet unborn we will always remember, lest we forget that we can break bones, that we did break bones, that we had to break bones, smash bones, burn bones, reduce bones, atomise bones. Let's always remember we had to. We had to break bones, smash bones, burn bones, had to reduce bones, atomise bones, had to. With our sticks and our stones, we atomised bones. We had to for our security. We had to for our children. We had to because we had the right to defend ourselves. But let us also remember that the beast we are only began to become what it might yet be when we learnt to set bones and let bones mend. When we learnt to set bones and give them time to mend, it was then we began to become what we might yet be. I'm doing good. I'm going a bit quick. Right, I'm going to sing again. Same tune though, so we'll be all right. This one's called Move No Stones, and it's about, it started on a holiday in Ireland, but it's all in the poem, so I'll leave it. The people have no history because of how it's taught, and they won't get no history because teaching has been bought. They call it education. Well, it's nothing of the sort, just shills blue bleating on. Move no stones, build no cairns. The past's not yours, the future's theirs. You don't create, you just curate. Pass on what's taught, serve, stand and wait. On the Burren in Western Ireland, they have these signs. Oh, it's that. Sorry. Every time I start a thing, I'm thinking it's the microphone clicking, but it's a dude with a sledgehammer. Oh, thank you. On the Burren in Western Ireland, they have these signs that say, move no stones, build no cairns. Poetic it sounds. Dismal it is. Intended, I suppose, to preserve the natural landscape. It's a landscape marked thoroughly by human agency. All over and forever, people have piled the stones, set them on edge, built elegant dolmens and dank tombs, and left their natural mark on the natural landscape for other humans to see and mark in their own time and in the times they knew would come. But not now. Move no stones, build no cairns. The past's not yours, the future's theirs. You don't partake, you just spectate. You pay your toll, you wait at the gate. Human instinct, though, says leave a mark, leave a spore, a trace of your own sick transit through Gloria Mundi. Cave paintings, Avebury stones, the Parthenon, the Gherkin, it's all physical graffiti. I was here. Here I was. Was I here? Yes, I was. For good or ill. For those around, for those to come. To naturally mark your natural place in the natural world as naturally awarded by birth to all natural beings. For good or ill. Move no stones, build no cairns. The past not yours, the future's theirs. You'll not create, they'll asseverate. Sit there, sit quiet, serve, wait. Because history is over, finished. Make no marks. Respect the marks made in the past by your fathers, well, by certain fathers. You don't make it. You watch it. You look passively. You smile complicitly. Hey, you kneel and rise compliantly, usefully. Hey, you, yes, you. Show your ID, then you can gaze admiringly. Gawp at the heritage, but don't leave any. Don't move things. Don't make things. Don't make the place untidy, you. Move no stones, build no cairns. The past not yours, the future's theirs. Do not create, appreciate, pass on what's taught. Serve, stand, and wait. Grow debt, but leave no legacy. Watch repeats, don't make classic telly. Owe the past, don't pay the future. Venerate, but don't generate culture. Buy the t-shirt, but don't go see, do yourself. Look straight ahead, charge off the cliff. Leave nothing behind when you depart, but some wealth. Or move the stones, build the cairns, nap your flints, bear your bairns, shape your cares, take the dares, bear no arms, arm no bears, split the hairs, spill the airs, reap no tares. Please, raise concerns. Please, raise concerns, please. At least raise concerns, please. Move those stones, build those cairns, show those to come the way we were. Because we create, and will create, and we'll show them yet. Thank you, thank you. Right, so last year, somebody paid me a great deal of money to write some poems. And as an hourly rate, over 30 years of doing it, it was crap. But in the moment, it was lovely. So I'm going to do, there's some more of them, the Henge poems, and there's some more of them later on this evening. So if you like this, there's more of those. But I'm going to do this one because I really, really like it, and it's quite new. And this is called The Holy Well Feeds the Mainstream. Come. Walk with purpose like a cloud, to shape the sun, to bear the rain, draw sustenance through feet from earth. Now sing, now dance, walk, breathe again. This chalk you walk will make its mark on white pressed chalkboards of the heart, on white pressed chalkboards in the mind, scribe messages in clean carved lines. The words to songs we thought were lost, an open ear can catch, can find, record, reclaim, inhabit, write. The songs of farmers, workers, walkers, jaggers, rovers, drovers, travellers, the tales of wanderers, tellers, traders, heard in silence, read in signs, on walls, on stones, in tree bark, spore, in cold brook babble, whispering grass, in bird call, bird song, hedgerow bustle, susurration all along the branch, the May Queen dusting, carrion rotting, slime mould bleeping under mulch, all calling out to draw you out, all calling out to draw you out, all calling you to speak your part. This glossolalia of landscape, all for all to hear and pass and add to with the thump of footfall or pick of stick beside the path says, you are the land. The land is yours, to walk on, write on as you pass, to mark the route as path marks you, en route, to grow, to branch. And herein rings this writing's purpose, clear as summoning churchyard bell, a human eye that looks on green with old connections starts to fill. For old here, ancient, deep, eternal, grass on sole skin, mud tween toes. They walked before, you now, soon others, each by life to land betrothed. For those that roam the Chiltern acres, whether born of them or drawn from far, will each append their own new chapter. Don't matter who, where, what you are, don't matter whence or how you got here, for all we know is here and now, of the billion now spread through whenever. Now comes the now to make your now. So, come. All ascenders, climbers, feel earth beneath, feel sky above, feel self between and feel connection, freedom, space, and that's enough. This land's a land that welcomes wanderers, a land of havens between hills, of stands of trees and holy waters of green that shades the eyes and stills the feet of walkers called to pause. On hilltops curved beneath the stars, feel turf that springs beneath the tread, rub heather flowers between the palms, and come, all you bold, steep descendants of the ones before, of humans seeking first to settle and then refreshed more to explore. This land's a land that calls to wanderers to come uncover for themselves that truth of land and truth of humans, that all are equal on the fells. This land's a land that needs its wanderers, the ones who push the boundaries back for those to come, the ones who beat the currently unbeaten track. They see new ways we haven't wandered, trace ways neglected for an age since sleep ran on diurnal rhythms, since where you slept wasn't where you stayed. And this world's not the world that once was, and much we'd miss if so it was. Some lines have blurred, and for the better, generations have trod. Now, come, all you who hear it calling, while stood on streets, grey, rhythm blind. The cycle of night and day inside is a wild call, not to be denied. Come, feel the real untrammeled sunbright, test your skin against the rain, and you'll find, not so deep inside you, a besom to unblock and drain the mind of clagging urban poison. Clogging artery, clogs ear canal. Come blast it with some hilltop quiet or Coldbrook gurgle for an hour. An hour, 2 or 3 or 4, that curiosity becomes a need. You satiate the money stomach and free the ear and eye to feed, the hips to flex, the foot to fall, find a path to follow of its own, to feed that newly wakened hunger, sate new need, deep as blood and bone. Come serpentine, you walkers, dancers, wanderers, tellers, singers, swell this land that's green, that tells the story in hilltop grace and holy well. Come listeners, learners, solace takers, carers, givers, tired, lost, to land that gives back all you give it, to land that's known, that's kin, that's host. Yes, come you all, blessed human wanderers, feel earth beneath, feel sky above, feel self between, feel your land calling. Dawn hearts for peace, fire minds for love. All right. Now, as you know, Exodus Exodus started as with raves and parties, and so we just did a show called Rave New World, which was all about Exodus and the history of raving and the purpose and the power of it to bring people together. And this is a poem I had before, which then bits of it ended anyway. It's called Survivor's Tales. You know what sustains, what hastens change? Stories. It isn't articles and analysis, it's just stories. Stories where stuff happens, then stuff happens next, and you can see why it connects, why it happened then. Then you look and you see yourself. Then you listen and you hear your own dancing feet in a similar set of shapes thrown to that repetitive beat. That same 4 to the 4th floor that feeds the needs that gnaw and can show you the once and future you there that you could go when the music wants to take you, and you let it. Let it show you how to enact rights, reclaim rights in your own time and with everybody in the place. And felt through the floor come the beats, the bass, and riding on the air come the vocals, the harmony, and bring the beat back after the drop. Reap and ride the whirlwind. That bass line girdles you about and carries you away from captivity, and all it requires of you is your song. And leave Babylon behind and rebuild a new face, a new base, a new place. Then, stories can speak through the rhythm, stories with lessons to share, stories with beats that sustain that call through the space between kick drum and snare, stories of hope possible, stories of possible hopes, stories that beat in the brain to the alpha wave pulse of us, the heartbeat of that which connects us. Stories that lighten but let in the shade, stories that show you how stories are made, stories that open the doors in your head, stories that teach you don't need to be dead to ascend. Stories as music, beats and bass, stories that preach, stories that pace, such stories vouchsafe that you needn't walk dead, neither crawl to the grave, you could rave there instead. Rave to that earth-shaking bass line, rave to that through-the-floor heart thump. Yes, that one, the one you know. You know it, it fills you, you're full. It's that belly-deep bass pulse that throbs in us all. It's the tumult of knowing, the rush and the call. It's that damned human truth, true in spite of the falling I-ams, elemental as a dancer's footfall. That a human is born to be free to choose how to live, how to die, how to be between birth and the grave, between birth and the grave, between birth and the grave. Don't walk, people, rave. Those voices that sibilate up through the beats, up from the earth, up through your feet, they hiss the same words as the snakes in your guts, as the diamond-sharp stylus riding serpentine grooves out here in the woods, in these great roofless halls between earth and sky and our spark-fire eyes. The clear air clearly calls, tells you that you could be one with the woods, and you would if you could, and you can, so you should. Because this goes beyond the words in your head. It's the snakes in your guts you should honour instead as they writhe in confinement and cause you to fail, as they squirm in the legacy of that fell tale of Adam and Eve and of apple and fall. That story's just lies. Serpent's not that at all. Serpentine is the way that a river will flow. Serpentine is the way that things naturally go from one place to another, taking their time to sample the fungus or ride on a rhyme. It's a flow that takes nature as friend and as host. It's not something that's murdered to worship its ghost. Now the sinuous ravers that ride beneath the trees give the lie to the story of humans on knees, dead begging forgiveness for invented sin, designed to squeeze love out, pack laissez-faire in. Let the snakes out your belly and follow their lead. The path they will take is the one that we need to realise wisdom as old as the trees, to act upon instincts as deep as the seas, to lean on each other as on unbending iron, then dance on our ground and reclaim it for freedom. So people, don't dawdle from birth to the grave, and neither you walk in step. People, just rave. Each new human resource was born to be free, free to choose how to live, how to die, how to be, between birth and the grave, 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 when they raise border fences, when beaches are paved, between birth and the grave, between birth and the grave, when tyranny seeks to turn spirit to slave, then people don't walk that line, people just rave. When tyrants rule a line, cross the line, rave. Oh, blimey. Thank you. Okay, last one. Okay. This is why we do it, isn't it? This was for me, anyway. In this, there is bliss. In this act, there is the evolution of mastery. In this, the infinite subtleties are awoken and intimately active and all-consuming. The pace, the pressure, the path taken, familiar, elementally familiar, fingertip to cheek to chin, around the eye, behind the ear, and back again. All must be as it all must be. It is virtuousness and virtuosity made flesh, O my brothers and sisters and soul descendant. It is in fingertip and back of finger and softness of thumb pad, and in the rise and fall of the belly he lies on, sails on, drifts on. And sleep calls as he talks through his day and tells me his thoughts. For in this drift of practiced peace there is only peace, and consciousness of peace, and place, and belly, and face, and world and time fall away, and the fear that his world in his time will be fulfilled with the fear that otherwise churns in the belly he rides falls away. He reaches up his searching fingers to feel my face as it is, as smooth or bristly as my day has allowed, and on his fingers I kiss the layers of his day. Chalk and poster paint, chalk spread, marmite, and the loops and the whirls that make him him and make me his, suffuse and soothe the breathing in the belly he rides. And the fear of fiery skies, of deceit and lies, of replayed lines from unlearnt times subsides, replaced by the hum of blood beneath the cheek my finger rides, as sleep calls and finds that hope does rise, and fear can die, and world and time will be his and mine and will suffice. The hum of blood, the flushed cheek, the coming sleep, my baby son on my belly. I stroke his cheek, he goes to sleep. And hope rises for this world, for his time, and fills the space between our four closed eyes, and sleep comes soft and kind, and soon it's time to review our world through kinder eyes. Because though he's of me, he's not mine, and the world is his. Look at that. Music. Oh, lovely. Oh, bloody hell. Thank you very, very, very much. Wow. That one hasn't got... a few years old, and it used to make me do that when I did it, and I haven't done it before, but it's done it today, so thank you very, very much. If anyone liked any of those things and has got money they would like to spend, I have got a little satchel and I've got some books. Otherwise, thank you very much for having me. Thank you to Rebel Tent, thank you to Glenn, and I'll get out of the way.
Lee Nelson.